A human was sitting at a table playing a friendly game of cards with two others. One was a hawks, a shorter than average but stocky race. They were covered in fur and had rather large eyes for the size of their head. The other was a Clixian, an insectoid species, had 4 legs, 2 arms, unclosing eyes, and was covered in chitin. These 3 races made up the Scarred, as the Hawks called them. Among the Scarred, humanity was considered the most, well, scarred. The name referred to races that had a war, like the past, but gave it mostly. In the known galaxy, there were only 3 races out of the 237 that were scarred. Humans were considered the most scarred due to how long it took for them to put down the sword in favor of the pen. The Hawks put it down when they developed machine guns. The Clixian gave up when they developed nuclear bombs. The humans, though, they put down the sword only after it had drawn the blood of billions. Their Third World War took decades for them to bounce back from, a feat which many had deemed impossible until, well, it was shown otherwise. The world was turned into a barren hellscape. The humans adapted. That's what they are best at, it appears. Bioforming, terraforming, and pure desperation allow them to stave off extinction. The 3 scarred races tended to be looked down upon for one reason or another. Warrior races claimed that they were just cowards, while the pacifists tend to believe war was in their nature and that they would eventually fall back into their ways. The Scarred themselves had fairly good relations, all things considered. They had a mutual understanding. They were the ones baptized in fire. They had a better understanding of war than most ever will. There was a bit of shared camaraderie in this common trait that helped form diplomatic bonds that the other races had denied them. A Grags walked over to the table. They were slightly shorter than the Clixian and had a scaly exterior. They were one of the many warrior races that believed war was a most honorable practice. "Hey, cowards," the Grags said, slamming his claws down on the table. "Is there a reason for you to be bothering us?" the human said, annoyed clearly in his voice. This wasn't the first time shit like this happened. "To expose cowardice whenever I see it," the Grags said arrogantly. "Your free species are just pitiful. I mean, at least the pacifists have the excuse of not having experience, but you hide behind treaties and yet claim to know war better than us." The humans sighed. The Clixian and Hawks looked annoyed. There always seemed to be a pacifist or a warrior race that couldn't seem to keep their thoughts to themselves. "We will know war better than you ever will," the Hawk said, mild anger in his voice. "Is that so?" the Grags began, but stopped as the human stood up. The human was 6'5", the average height for humans nowadays, result of the bioforming. The human walked over to the Grags slowly, a blank look on his face. The human bent down and looked the Grags straight in the eyes. "You want to see the result of real war? Come to Earth. Go to the many mass graves that hold thousands upon thousands of dead. When you are there, ask the dead how honorable war was. Ask them what honor was worth." The Hawks and Clixian were smirking. They did enjoy it when they saw their human compatriot open up on some poor species that had more ego than brains. The Grags was silent for a moment. "Our warriors are honorable. We fight for glory. We have strict warrior codes. The human laughed. "Yes. Continue having your honor fights and wars for glory. However, just pray for one thing." "That would be?" "That you never actually get good at it."